I used to love Janet Jackson, and I wrote a song. I still know the words.
To the Janet Jackson song that you wrote for
and I
her.
was a little girl, and I just really wish my grandmother like took me serious and would have said, "Oh, well, let's try to find the Jacksons and mail it." But it went like, "It's about time that I come to my senses. All your life you've been playing with me. Boy, you know that you never really loved me. You're just a player and you're out to get me." And this was the hook. "But I'm not gonna let you get me."
You should DM it to her.
Yo, that's so 80s. I wrote that for Janet.
Wow. Michelle Carvalho. Did I say your last name right?
Practically.
Practically, okay.
Carvalho.
Carvalho for the black folks.
Yeah.
Word, man. See, you a writer.
I'm a writer.
You're an author.
I'm a published author, script writer.
What does that mean?
Content course creator.
Okay, I ain't even heard that before.
Well, that's the new thing.
That's the new thing?
Online.
Get with it.
You take the knowledge that you have about writing and script writing and formatting and book writing and implement it into content creation, which is the same thing as commercial writing. Yep.
Word. How did you even get involved in that? Like, who steered you in this direction?
Who steered me in this direction? Well, when I was very young, I used to love to write. I mean, I grew up in like a tough house, and so I used to spill my feelings on the paper. I remember one time I got in trouble because I like wrote all this shit, helping my grandmother die and all that. She found it. Like I wrote the whole story. I wrote the whole death out. Like you get ran over by a truck, whatever. And she found it. She was so mad. So I stopped writing for a little while because I was hurt. I was hurt that I hurt her. And
what made you write that though? You can't skip over that shit.
I was an angry kid. I came a long way. So I kept writing. I used to write for the school, Christmas Carol, redo the scripts and stuff like that.
Really?
Really.
That's an extensive script.
I did. I was like in 5th grade.
10 years old.
Exactly.
You always was like the smart kid.
I always say that. People say that, but I think I'm the same as anybody else.
No, kids don't really be writing plays over.
Because they just don't. They don't tap into their potential. But
okay.
Yeah, they like to call me smart ass.
Word.
But and so later on in life, I would get with
Hold on, wait. Before you.
Oh, you want to know about the script? Okay.
I want to know about that. I'm talking about the Christmas Carol thing. Like, who told you could do that, and why you think?
My teacher, Miss Jordan. My teacher, Miss Jordan, because I like to act too. Like I like acting and I was in a play. I was what was that? A ghost from Christmas Past. Y'all know who that is, right? The ghost from Christmas Past.
Yeah. We know the story very well.
I was a ghost from Christmas Past. I forgot who was Jeffrey. I don't know, but I played in that play, and I just love to write. I like to do it. I was a TV buff. Like,
what did you change in that? What did you change in the story?
I didn't change anything. My teacher was actually directed me because I would write stories, and so she just, how the teacher would pick the person that they feel would benefit most from the task or whatever, and so she would pick me.
And so you did you like first off want to be a poet or a rapper or a singer, or you knew you was gonna be a writer the whole time?
I didn't know. In my imagination, I was writing. I was like this huge writer, and all these people coming to my plays and shows. I have my concentration, I think, broken a lot through life because of a lot of the tragedies that happened. But when I was on point, that was always it for me. Like, I just loved to write, whether I was trying to write somebody else's story or I was writing my own story or something that was in my imagination, like vampire stuff or aliens, so like sci-fi, stuff like that. But yeah, I would say it was between me being an actress or some type of professional actor, and then being able to write from that point. Like the Spike Lee, Quentin Tarantino type of talent. Yeah, I felt like that. So
getting your first break and realizing I can make a living off of this. Take me there.
Getting my first break, realizing I could make a living off of writing.
Off of writing.
Well, see, when I grew up, people told you couldn't make money off of writing. So that was like, for me, it never really dawned on me. It's like you can love something and not be certain about how you're gonna make money off of it. So I didn't realize that, I think, until a little bit older, like in my 20s. And so I did other things, chasing money, and put my talent on the back burner. That was like one of the worst things I think I did. But
you wasn't no stripper or nothing, was you?
No.
Oh, okay. Because you got to be specific when people talk about chasing money.
I was making my money. My money was raining another way.
Okay.
It was definitely raining though.
Okay.
But I didn't strip. I was always more of an intellect, and I was always trying to get where the men was at those tables. I didn't necessarily want to be in front of them dancing, and so I started doing real estate. And so I was brokering deals, and I was flipping houses like long before it became
fashionable,
a big thing and fashionable
trendy
in the community. Yeah, I was already doing it.
Okay.
In South New Jersey or whatever. So I was a real estate agent very, very young. First I opened, you know what, actually, just to show you how I tried to stay in line, I had a talent agency, 139 Fulton Street. And I used to supply Fat Joe, the girls, to his videos. I worked under Stanley Kaplan, and then he was a big Jewish extra. He's a guy who used to do extras. I worked under Stanley Kaplan, and then I was always the type that I want to break away and do my own thing. So Stanley was like, look, just rent the office next door to me. So I was like, all right, I'll take the office. I had all this extra money or whatever. I got hit by the tractor trailer. I think I told you that story. So I got the 1.5. I had the 1.5 million. So I opened the casting agency. So I think that this was a way of me not actually being secure with myself, but I still wanted to stay in the industry. So I took a shot at being a casting agent. And so I had Dream Talent. I was casting for all the videos, etc., whatever. 9/11 hit. And so my office is literally, I want to say 2,000 feet from the World Trade Center. I was on the Staten Island ferry when the second plane hit the building. I saw that with my own eyes. I'm dropping on my knees. I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? So long story short, I don't know if you know everything about it. They sent people back home. I was never able to get back to the city. So, the city is, it's chaos. Everything's crazy for like 2 weeks. And then I find out once they finally allow us to come back to Fulton Street, my office is blown out. Like every headshot, it was disgusting. The walls were like 2 inches thick with soot. It was terrible. We had to take all of the paperwork, all of the files out on these little bicycles that they were renting with these carts. And so I had to take everything out of there. And then after that, I just left my writing, stuff like that alone, and I started doing the real estate.
Getting to the writing and getting to, what does the book come first or does the script come first?
The books, I didn't get the books out, the street PhD. Now I'm an official OG. I know what's up. And so I decided to do the street PhD. And so the street PhD is out, now, Amazon. The street PhD focuses on, it correlates, book 2, 16 Laws for Gangster Confidence, takes the 16 principles that I believe every person needs, particularly a woman, to be able to get the confidence and to build themselves up spiritually, psychologically, and emotionally to go for what they want, to do what they came in this life to do. Like not to be distracted by relationships, poor circles, jealous ass friends. Like I had a lot of that. Different people who don't really support you, and what you need to do to make sure you're strong to apply that. Whatever it is, if you're a musician, you play guitar, you play drums, you're a director, you're a producer, whatever it is that you really are gonna have to focus on that. And here's how. Here's 16 ways that you can be absolutely certain that at the end of this book, you'll be able to execute whatever it is. And that's book 2. Book 1, No More Broke Assness. I'm not gonna say I was targeting the Black community, because it's a problem I think across everywhere. Why we don't have money, and what the whole idea of law of attraction, what it means, how it works, and what you need to do to apply it. And so, No More Broke Assness is like a handbook that you can take everywhere to remind you to keep you on point what you need to be doing as far as that plan is concerned, as far as itemizing everything that you want in life. The average person, if you ask people right now, you'd be like, how much money, if I had a big ass dump truck out front filled with $100 bills. Let's say I had 2.6 million, 30 billion in that truck. And I ask you right now, how much money do you think you need to live your life right now? You know how many people, they don't know. They don't have that answer. They have absolutely no answer. Like what house do you want? Where would you like it to be? What schools do you want your kids to go in? Like Westchester County, or you want to be in the hood? Like people don't know. And what I try to teach them in No More Broke Assness is when you clear, like Meek Mill said, it's a few people who said it. Actually, every successful person that has actually managed to attract financial abundance has made some type of reference to law of attraction in some kind of way. Meek Mill said it best, and I put it in No More Broke Asses when he said, if you want it, you gotta see it with a clear eye view. And people probably didn't really understand what he meant by that. And so that is my final, not my final product, that's where I'm at right now. I got books, the Street PhD is actually going to be 4 books when it's done. I really put myself out there, I got my work cut out for me. Book 3 is Get Out, and I focus on abusive relationships, narcissistic abusive relationships. That's very close to my heart, domestic violence. I lost my mother and my stepmother to domestic violence. And book 4, I'm not absolutely set on the title, but it could be She's Not Faking, and it's about mental illness when we have it in the home and in the community, and when we ignore it. And then I also describe the process of watching my sister evolve into an effective schizophrenic from 6 years old to now she's in her late 30s or whatever, and some of the things that people ignored, and now she's really, really sick and hard to help. Those are things that are close to my heart, so those are projects that I want to get done. Of course, I have a dreamlife.com, which is a lot of work because that's my blog, and that's where I try to give as much information and articles that I can as free, and downloads and books and courses. I got the self-love course launching January to help these ladies get it right for 2019, but it's also not bordered off for women. I have a lot of men followers that write me and love me, and they also like my material, and so I've made that course co-ed. Yep.
I gotta attend that. I'm excited about that.
You get in the course with me.
Come on now. I'm
just gonna email y'all the course.
Yes. Now let's get to the fun stuff.
Let's get to the fun stuff. Oh, your people you introduced me to want to work with me too. She has some really good stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she has a lot of good information.
Yes, most definitely.
She definitely does.
Definitely a wealth. A wealth of knowledge, and her connections are crazy.
Yeah, especially with domestic violence. I didn't know that she had that experience. And so
me neither.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's funny how
she definitely knows.
You sit by somebody every day and you talk to them, and they don't share that. You don't know what nobody going through. You don't know what nobody.
Like when you look at me, I look like I was ejected through a window shield on a Deegan, 65 miles per hour. Had a hole in the back of my head with my hair shaved off, in a coma for 3 days. Nor does it look like I lost sight in my left eye because of a punch so hard I was nearly blinded. I almost swallowed my eyeball. So it's just amazing the things that we can go through and come out of it whole. It's like God is real. And I have no other choice but to believe that the shit that I went through is so crazy. When I look back on it now, I had to take space to heal myself and disconnect so I can look at it in a practical sense. I can't teach if I'm crying and boo-hooing and I'm still connected to the reasons why, right? I had to be able to separate myself from that, and that took time. The issues with my father, because I was trying to ask myself, hey, look, when Dame Dash and them called you to come to Canada with the script, why didn't you go? That was your opportunity to go fight for your own rights or whatever credit you were supposed to have. You leave it in the hands of AZ after everything that you've been through. And so I really think what would help me not go, because sometimes when people don't have shit, they there, right? They're gonna pop up. Like people are more, I think, hungry when they don't have anything or they don't have a clue as to where they're gonna get their next dollar. But me, I'm set right now. I'm 27, I'm set. They just dumped all this money on me. They call him like, I'm not coming. We had lots of arguments about that because he wanted his daughter on set. And I didn't come, but I really thought that he would do what he was supposed to do. And then I see the movie credits and it says, special thanks to Michelle Carvalho. And I'm like, hey. And so then a whole, big thing happened. Never between us, I would say. It was more about what did Dame do? Or what did whoever Dame was connected to do, because nobody got the money that they think they should have received. Or maybe, A made some type of dumb deal out of desperation and might have got one lump sum and then didn't receive any residuals, and Velma, who actually raised both of my daughters, Richard Porter's mother, she was like a mother to me. Like our relationship became very, very tight. And Pat, she was always complaining too because those are her sons, I mean, A got shot, he's alive though. And Richard and Darnell is dead, and this movie is this big, huge thing. and all the people who primarily had everything to do with it, whether they were affected by it emotionally, psychologically, financially, everything, and then, you know, people who wrote it, like me. Just somehow, you know, it morphed into something else.
Do you feel unsung when it comes to that? Unsung?
Unsung? Oh, hell yeah! Unsung. You know, I'm so glad you asked that. Do I feel unsung? You know, I don't think that it's so much about me wanting to be credited or sung. I just think that depending on what you do, it is important that people know the truth and that lies don't get to be like the final thing. You know, like it's important that if something happened to me and you gave me your heart with your last breath, that I would want my family to go to your family and say thank you. Your heart saved my daughter, or, you know, one of your kidneys, you know. Why do we have to pretend? And so for a long time, I had to really think that through. I'm gonna tell you, I've been influenced a lot by friends and family, people who are close to me, who said, Shelly, it's time, you need to speak up. You know, it's time that you need to speak up.
So when you see the movie and repeat and whatnot, do you ever have moments where you like, you feel emotional about it, or do you watch it and you like,
never, no.
I did that shit.
Yeah, I watch it and I'm like, y'all messed it up a little bit, but where I'm at right now, I don't know about when I was 19 when I wrote it. What's so funny is because it's a line when Cameron stands on the fence and he says, you moving on up like the Jeffersons or whatever. I wrote that line. So, you know, how you going? That shit didn't come out of nowhere. That's still a line. You know, I was gonna bring it in front of the judge or whatever, but I just didn't. Let me tell you why I didn't.
Yeah, please.
Let me tell you why I didn't. Because one thing that I used to have a hard time accepting about myself was my talent, my skills, right? Once you become clear on that, nothing else matters.
So
Paid
you know
in
you
full
could do it.
is one little part of what I could do. And so I've been able to prove that and manifest that. The people who took the credit for it, what else you got? If you're a writer, what else you got? Let me see something else.
Can you do it again? Yeah.
Let me see something else. Let me see a book, a script, a course, just anything. So I just know from being in the street and being around a whole lot of people, whether it's girls, and sometimes niggas could be more jealous than you than a chick, right? I had to learn that. I was not aware of that. Like, I always look up to men. Like, that's the masculine part of us. And so I never saw men as a person that would, like, you know, ostracize or feel threatened by a girl, right? I just never saw, because the men in my family were pretty strong. My dad was damn abusive, but, you know, the men in my family were like people that did, you know, I just thought everybody was like that, you know? But I found out that people will not help you. They will not shout you out. They will not give you proper credit. I even had to move myself away from my circle because I seen that when I started to apply myself more and do more of what God put me here to do, more of what I do really, really well, people started, if they weren't trying to compete with me, they were trying to find ways to undermine me, or, you know, it's just that creepy hood jealousy, that crab in the bucket shit. So I had to, like, really spread. I love everybody, but I had to separate from people because I'm an empath. I could feel your energy. I could read it. I could know when you're trying to outdo me. You can't outdo me because we do two different things. And so a lot of that was happening. But thank God, because they said that God sometimes will remove people out of your life so that you can bloom, right? So you can see what's what. So when he put you where you're supposed to be, then you know who you're supposed to be fucking with and who you're not supposed to be fucking with. So that's what happened with me. But yeah, when I wrote, this is the crazy thing. This is what I'm saying. He's a good dude. He has his abusing problems or whatever. Hopefully he got better with that, right? Anybody try to say it's not true, I will have to bring my baby mama on, Pat Porter. I would bring her on, right? And she would do it. I wouldn't want to cause that conflict between us, but we're very tight. And she went through it too. So when the issue with the script is when I finished it, I never forget. We were living on 116th Street. He said, yo, go take that movie down to the writers, whatever, and register it. Because he's not a bad person. He told me that. But I don't even know what I was doing. I was going through so much with the abuse, the pregnancy, my sister losing her mind. There was so much going on in the family. I lost both of my grandparents. And I think I had went downtown because I wrote that script. What I used as a guideline, because I had not had the education yet. I was intelligent, smart, and knew how to write and read, but I didn't go to college or to learn how to write a script. I didn't finish college until later. I used to go down and sit in the library of, I forgot the name of the library. It's where you can go pull up all the scripts of top writers and artists. And I used Spike Lee. There were a few scripts that I read to learn how to actually create the format. I did all that research. I did everything. And so he sent me down, and I never went. And I will never forget that to this day. It might have been like $50. I forgot what it was. And he told me to do it, and I didn't do it. To me, that was a sign that it didn't really matter to him. So like these people who showed up, I don't know who these people are. Never seen them a day in my life. You know, when me and A broke up, and you know, he took my daughter, we was fighting over my kid for a while. That was the last thing on my mind. And there's no way that you can predict that a movie like that, which I don't think is a great movie, can become a culture classic like that. And I'm not sure why. I tried to watch it again, and I'm like, what is everybody? Maybe because they weren't there. I don't know. But I just feel like there's so much more that story does not tell. There's so much sentiment. There's so much that's missing. But I don't know. But people love it. So I never imagined that it would become a culture classic, etc. But you know, like I told you before, everybody who's anybody, they know.